entitled Science. This is the lesson 7, Weather, Climate and Adaptations of Animals to Climate, from page 68 to page 79. Let's listen to the lesson 7, Weather, Climate and Adaptations of Animals to Climate, page 68. Do you remember the things that you were asked to pack when you were heading for a hill station? When the sky is cloudy, your parents insist that you carry an umbrella. Have you heard elders in your family discuss the weather before planning a family function? You must have also heard the experts discussing the weather before the start of a game. Have you ever wondered why? The weather may have a profound effect on the game. It has a profound effect on our lives. Many of our daily activities are planned based on the weather predicted for that day. There are daily reports of the weather on the television and radio and in the newspapers. But do you know what this weather really is? In this chapter, we will study about the weather and climate. We will also see how different forms of life are adapted to the climate of their habitat. 7.1 Weather. In figure 7.1, a sample of weather report from a newspaper is given. Figure 7.1. A sample of a weather report from a newspaper. In this weather report, we have the maximum temperature, minimum temperature, the time of sunrise, the time of sunset, the time of moonset, and the time of moonrise. We also have more detailed information like whether there will be fog in the morning, whether the sky will be cloudy or clear, and what kind of humidity will be there on the day. We find that the daily weather report carries information about the temperature, humidity, and rainfall during the past 24 hours. It also predicts the weather for the day. Humidity, as you might know, is a measure of the moisture in air. There's a thought bubble given here. A picture of Bojo is next to it. I wonder who prepares these reports. The weather reports are prepared by the meteorological department of the government. This department collects data on temperature, wind, etc. and makes the weather prediction. Activity 7.1. Cut out the weather reports of the last week from any newspaper. If you do not get a newspaper at home, borrow from your neighbors or friends and copy these reports in your notebook. You can also collect weather reports from a library. Paste all the cutouts on a white sheet or on a chart paper. Now, record the information from the weather reports collected by you in table 7.1. The first row is just a sample. Fill all the columns according to the data in the chart that you have prepared. Page 69. Table 7.1. Weather data of a week. In this table, we have 6 columns and 8 rows. In the first column, we have the date. The second column has the maximum temperature in degrees Celsius. The third column has minimum temperature in degrees Celsius. The fourth column has minimum humidity in percentage. The fifth column has maximum humidity in percentage, and the sixth column has rainfall in millimeters. A sample has been given for you in row 1. The date is 23rd August 2006. The maximum temperature is 36.2 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature is 27.8 degrees Celsius. The minimum humidity is 54%. The maximum humidity is 82%. And rainfall is blank. Note: rainfall may not be recorded for all the days since it may not rain every day. Leave the space for rainfall blank if the data is not available. Rainfall is measured by an instrument called the rain gauge. It is basically a measuring cylinder with a funnel on top to collect rainwater. Do all the 7 days have the same maximum and minimum temperatures, humidity, and rainfall? The maximum and minimum temperatures recorded may be the same for some of the days. However, all the parameters are not the same on any 2 days. Over a week, there may be considerable variation. The day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is called the weather at that place. The temperature, humidity, and other factors are called the elements of the weather. The weather of a place changes day after day and week after week. That is why we often say today's weather is too humid, or the weather was warm last week. The weather is such a complex phenomenon that it can vary over very short periods of time. It can happen sometimes that it is sunny in the morning, but suddenly clouds appear from nowhere and it starts raining heavily. Or a heavy rain may vanish in a matter of minutes and give way to bright sunshine. You may have had several such experiences. Try to recall any such experience and share it with your friends. Since weather is such a complex phenomenon, it is not easy to predict. Observe the graph given here, which shows the maximum temperature recorded during 3rd August 2006 to 9th August 2006 at Shillong, Meghalaya. You can observe this closely in figure 7.2. Page 70. Figure 7.2. Graph showing the variation of maximum temperature during 3rd to 9th August 2006. There's a table given here. In this table, we have 2 columns and 7 rows. In the first column, we have the date. In the second column, we have the maximum temperature. On 3rd August 2006, the maximum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius. On 4th August, it was 23.5 degrees Celsius. On 5th August, it was 25 degrees Celsius. On 6th August, it was 22 degrees Celsius. On 7th August, it was 25.5 degrees Celsius. On 8th August, it was 23.3 degrees Celsius. On 9th August, it was 24.4 degrees Celsius. These values have also been plotted on a graph. On the y-axis, we have the temperature. On the x-axis, we have the dates. After marking the values, we have got a zigzag kind of graph. As it is clear from any weather report, The maximum and minimum temperatures are recorded every day. Do you know how these temperatures are recorded? In Chapter 4, you have learned that there are special thermometers for this purpose, called maximum and minimum thermometers. Can you guess when during the day we have the maximum temperature and when the minimum? The maximum temperature of the day occurs generally in the afternoon, while the minimum temperature occurs generally in the early morning. Can you now understand why in summers we feel so miserable in the afternoon and comparatively comfortable early in the morning? There's a thought bubble given here. Pictures of Paheli and Bojo are next to it. Bojo is thinking, I wonder why weather changes so frequently. Paheli replies, what is the source of weather in the first place? All changes in weather are caused by the sun. The sun is a huge sphere of hot gases at a very high temperature. The distance of the sun from us is very large. Even then, the energy sent out by the sun is so huge that it is the source of all heat and light on the earth. So, the sun is the primary source of energy that causes changes in the weather. Energy absorbed and reflected by the earth's surface, ocean, and the atmosphere play important roles in determining the weather at any place. If you live near the sea, you would have realized that the weather at your place is different from that of a place in a desert or near a mountain. Page 71. What about the times of sunrise and sunset? You know that in winters it becomes dark early and you do not get much time to play. Are the days shorter in winter than in summer? Try to find it out yourself by completing the project given at the end of the chapter. 7.2 Climate. Meteorologists record the weather every day. The records of the weather have been preserved for the past several decades. These help us to determine the weather pattern at a place. The average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years, is called the climate of the place. If we find that the temperature at a place is high most of the time, then we say that the climate of that place is hot. If there is also heavy rainfall on most of the days in the same place, then we can say that the climate of that place is hot and wet. In table 7.2 and 7.3, we have given the climate condition at two places in India. The mean temperature for a given month is found in two steps. First, we find the average of the temperatures recorded during the month. Second, we calculate the average of such average temperatures over many years. That gives the mean temperature. The two places are Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir and Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. Table 7.2 Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. Information about climate. Degrees Celsius, 4.1 degrees Celsius, 32.6 degrees Celsius, 29.9 degrees Celsius. Note, the numbers for the mean total rainfall have been rounded off. Page 72. By looking at table 7.2 and 7.3, we can easily see the difference in the climate of Jammu and Kashmir and Kerala. We can see that Kerala is very hot and wet in comparison to Jammu and Kashmir, which has a moderately hot and wet climate for a part of the year. Similar data for the western region of India, for example, Rajasthan, will show that the temperature is high during most part of the year. But during winter, which lasts only for a few months, the temperature is quite low. This region receives very little rainfall. This is the typical desert climate. It is hot and dry. The northeastern India receives rain for a major part of the year. Therefore, we can say that the climate of the northeast is wet. 7.3 Climate and Adaptation. Climate has a profound effect on all living organisms. Animals are adapted to survive in the conditions in which they live. Animals living in very cold and hot climate must possess special features to protect themselves against the extreme cold or hot. Recall from chapter 9 of your class 6 science book the definition of adaptation. Features and habits that help animals to adapt to their surroundings are a result of the process of evolution. In chapter 9, you will learn about the effect of weather and climate on soil. Here, we will study the effect of climate on animals only. In class 6th, you have read about adaptations of animals to certain habitats. As example of adaptations of animals to climatic conditions, we discuss only animals living in polar regions and tropical rainforests. As the name suggests, the polar regions are situated near the poles, that is, North Pole and South Pole. Some well-known countries that belong to the polar regions are Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Alaska in USA, and Siberian region of Russia. Examples of some countries where tropical rainforests are found are India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, Republic of Congo, Kenya, Uganda, and Nigeria. Activity 7.2. Take an outline map of the world. Mark the polar regions in blue. Similarly, mark the tropical regions in red. 1. The polar regions. The polar regions present an extreme climate. These regions are covered with snow, and it is very cold for most part of the year. For 6 months, the sun does not set at the poles, while for the other 6 months, the sun does not rise. In winters, the temperature can be as low as -37 degrees Celsius. Animals living there have adapted to these severe conditions. Let us see how they are adapted by considering the examples of polar bears and penguins. Polar bears have white fur, so that they are not easily visible in the snowy white background. It protects them from their predators. Page 73. It also helps them in catching their prey. To protect them from extreme cold, they have 2 thick layers of fur. They also have a layer of fat under their skin. In fact, they are so well insulated that they have to move slowly and rest often to avoid getting overheated. Physical activities on warm days necessitate cooling. So, the polar bear goes for swimming. It is a good swimmer. Its paws are wide and large, which helps it not only to swim well but also walk with ease in the snow. While swimming underwater, it can close its nostrils and can remain underwater for long durations. It has a strong sense of smell so that it can catch its prey for food. We can understand the adaptations of polar bears with the help of the flowchart given in Figure 7.3. Figure 7.3 Adaptations of Polar Bear. In this chart, there is a polar bear at the center. Then, with the help of arrows, various features of a polar bear have been described. The white fur is not easily visible in the snowy white background. Its predator and prey are unable to see it. It has a very strong sense of smell. It helps the bear to locate and catch its prey. It has long, curved and sharp claws. These help it to walk on ice. It has a layer of fat under its skin. The fat insulates its body from cold and keeps it warm. It has two thick layers of fur. These keep it warm in cold weather. Figure 7.4 Penguins huddled together. Another well-known animal living in the polar regions is the penguin. It can be observed in Figure 7.4. It is also white and merges well with the white background. It also has a thick skin and a lot of fat to protect it from cold. You may have seen pictures of penguins huddled together. This they do to keep warm. Recall how warm you feel when you are in a hall full of people. Page 74, Figure 7.5 Feet of penguin. Like polar bears, penguins are also good swimmers. Their bodies are streamlined and their feet have webs, making them good swimmers. You can observe this in Figure 7.5. Other animals living in the polar regions are many types of fishes, musk oxen, reindeers, foxes, seals, whales, and birds. It is to be noted that while fish can remain under cold water for long, birds must remain warm to survive. They migrate to warmer regions when winter sets in. They come back after winter is over. You know probably that India is one of the destinations of many of these birds. You must have seen or heard about the Siberian crane that comes from Siberia to places like Bharatpur in Rajasthan and Sultanpur in Haryana, and some wetlands of northeast and some other parts of India. You can observe them in Figure 7.6. Figure 7.6 Migratory birds in their habitat and migratory birds in flight. In the first picture, we can observe a couple of birds drinking water. In the second picture, we can observe some birds flying over a pond. There's a thought bubble given here. A picture of Paheli is next to it. Do fishes and butterflies also migrate like birds? Did you know? Some migratory birds travel as much as 15,000 kilometers to escape the extreme climatic conditions at home. Generally, they fly high, where the wind flow is helpful, and The cold conditions allow them to disperse the heat generated by their flight muscles. But how these birds travel to the same place year after year is still a mystery. It seems that these birds have a built-in sense of direction and know in which direction to travel. Some birds probably use landmarks to guide them. Many birds may be guided by the sun during the day and stars at night. There is some evidence that birds may use the magnetic field of the earth to find direction. And it is not only birds that migrate. Mammals, many types of fish, and insects are also known to migrate seasonally in search of more hospitable climates. Page 75. 2. The tropical rainforests. The tropical region has generally a hot climate because of its location around the equator. Even in the coldest month, the temperature is generally higher than about 15 degrees Celsius. During hot summers, the temperature may cross 40 degrees Celsius. Days and nights are almost equal in length throughout the year. These regions get plenty of rainfall. An important feature of this region is the tropical rainforests. Tropical rainforests are found in Western Ghats and Assam in India, Southeast Asia, Central America, and Central Africa. Because of continuous warmth and rain, this region supports wide variety of plants and animals. The major types of animals living in the rainforests are monkeys, apes, gorillas, tigers, elephants, leopards, lizards, snakes, birds, and insects. Let us read about the adaptations of these animals to a hot, humid climate. The climatic conditions in rainforests are highly suitable for supporting an enormous number and a variety of animals. Since the numbers are large, there is intense competition for food and shelter. Many animals are adapted to living on the trees. Red-eyed frog, which can be observed in figure 7.7, has developed sticky pads on its feet to help it climb trees on which it lives. To help them live on trees, monkeys, which can be observed in figure 7.8, have long tails for grasping branches. Their hands and feet are such that they can easily hold on to the branches. As there is competition for food, some animals are adapted to get food not easily reachable. A striking example is that of the bird toucan, which possesses a long large beak. This bird can be observed in figure 7.9. The beak of toucan helps it to reach the fruits on branches which are otherwise too weak to support its weight. Many tropical animals have sensitive hearing, sharp eyesight, thick skin, and a skin color which helps them to camouflage by blending with the surroundings. This is to protect them from predators. For example, big cats like lions and tigers have thick skins and sensitive hearing. Figure 7.7 Red-eyed frog. Figure 7.8 A New World monkey. Page 76. The lion-tailed macaque, also called beard ape, lives in the rainforests of Western Ghats. It can be observed in figure 7.10. Its most outstanding feature is the silver-white mane, which surrounds the head from the cheeks down to its chin. It is a good climber and spends a major part of its life on the tree. It feeds mainly on fruits. It also eats seeds, young leaves, stems, flowers, and buds. This beard ape also searches for insects under the bark of the trees. Since it is able to get sufficient food on the trees, it rarely comes down on the ground. Another well-known animal of Indian tropical rainforest is the elephant. The elephant can be observed in figure 7.11. It has adapted to the conditions of rainforests in many remarkable ways. You can observe its trunk. It uses it as a nose, because of which it has a strong sense of smell. The trunk is also used by it for picking up food. Moreover, its tusks are modified teeth. These can tear the bark of trees that elephant loves to eat. So, the elephant is able to handle the competition for food rather well. Large ears of the elephant help it to hear even very soft sounds. They also help the elephant to keep cool in the hot and humid climate of the rainforest. Figure 7.9 Toucan. Figure 7.10 The lion-tailed macaque. Figure 7.11 An Indian elephant. Keywords: adaptation, climate, elements of weather, humidity, maximum temperature, migration, minimum temperature, polar region, tropical rainforest, tropical region, weather. Page 77. 1. The day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. is called the weather at that place. 2. The weather is generally not the same on any 2 days and week after week. 3. The maximum temperature of the day occurs generally in the afternoon, while the minimum temperature occurs in the early morning. 4. The times of sunrise and sunset also change during the year. 5. All the changes in the weather are driven by the sun. 6. The average weather pattern taken over a long time, say 25 years, is called the climate of the place. 7. The tropical and the polar regions are the two regions of the earth which have severe climatic conditions. 8. Animals are adapted to the conditions in which they live. 9. The polar regions are very cold throughout the year. The sun does not set for 6 months in a year, and in the other 6 months it does not rise. 10. Animals in the polar region are adapted to the extremely cold climate by having some special characteristics such as white fur, strong sense of smell, a layer of fat under the skin, wide and large paws for swimming and walking, etc. 11. Migration is another means to escape the harsh cold conditions. 12. Because of the hospitable climatic conditions, huge populations of plants and animals are found in the tropical rainforests. 13. Animals in the tropical rainforests are adapted such that they eat different kinds of food to overcome the competition for food and shelter. 14. Some adaptations of animals living in the tropical rainforests include living on the trees, development of strong tails, long and large beaks, bright colors, sharp patterns, loud voice, diet of fruits, sensitive hearing, sharp eyesight, thick skin, ability to camouflage in order to protect themselves from predators, etc. Exercises. 1. Name the elements that determine the weather of a place. 2. When are the maximum and minimum temperatures likely to occur during the day? 3. Fill in the blanks. 1. The average weather taken over a long time is called blank. Page 78. 2. A place receives very little rainfall and the temperature is high throughout the year. The climate of that place will be blank and blank. 3. The two regions of the earth with extreme climatic conditions are blank and blank. 4. Indicate the type of climate of the following areas. A. Jammu and Kashmir. B. Kerala. C. Rajasthan. D. Northeast India. 5. Which of the two changes frequently, weather or climate? 6. Following are some of the characteristics of animals. 1. Diets heavy on fruits. 2. White fur. 3. Need to migrate. 4. Loud voice. 5. Sticky pads on feet. 6. Layers of fat under skin. 7. Wide and large paws. 8. Bright colors. 9. Strong tails. 10. Long and large beak. For each characteristic, indicate whether it is adaptation for tropical rainforests or polar regions. Do you think that some of these characteristics can be adapted for both regions? 7. The tropical rainforest has a large population of animals. Explain why it is so. 8. Explain with examples why we find animals of certain kind living in particular climatic conditions. 9. How do elephant living in the tropical rainforest adapt itself? Choose the correct option which answers the question here. 10. A carnivore with stripes on its body moves very fast while catching its prey. It is likely to be found in 1. Polar regions. 2. Deserts. 3. Oceans. 4. Tropical rainforests. 11. Which features adapt polar bears to live in extremely cold climate? 1. A white fur, fat below skin, keen sense of smell. 2. Thin skin, large eyes, a white fur. 3. A long tail, strong claws, white large paws. 4. White body, paws for swimming, gills for respiration. Page 79. Which option best describes a tropical region? 1. Hot and humid. 2. Moderate temperature, heavy rainfall. 3. Cold and humid. 4. Hot and dry. Extended learning, projects and activities. 1. Collect weather reports of 7 successive days in the winter months, preferably December. Collect similar reports for the summer months, preferably June. Now, prepare a table for sunrise and sunset times as given here. Table. In this table, we have 2 columns and 2 rows. The columns have been divided into 3 parts. The first column has the value June. The second column has the value December. They have been further divided into date, sunrise, and sunset. Try to answer the following questions. 1. Is there any difference in the time of sunrise during summer and winter? 2. When do you find that the sun rises earlier? 3. Do you also find any difference in the time of sunset during the month of June and December? 4. When are the days longer? 5. When are the nights longer? 6. Why are the days sometimes longer and sometimes shorter? 7. Plot the length of the day against the days chosen in June and December. Instructions for plotting graphs are given in Chapter 13. 2. Collect information about the Indian Meteorological Department. If possible, visit its website http://www.imd.gov.in. Write a brief report about the things this department does. Did you know? Rainforests cover about 6% of the Earth's surface, but they have more than half of the animal life and about 2/3 of the flowering plants of the planet. However, much of this life is still unknown to us. The chapter 7 of total 18 chapters of the book ends here.